Hey y'all. We'll give it like 2 more minutes and we'll get started. This is going to be an all levels vinyasa. So if you want blocks, you can grab them, or anything that resembles a block. You can grab a belt or a strap or something that is similar. You can grab a towel. If you can't hear me, let me know. I depend on you guys. Let me know if you can hear me. But I think you can. I tested it out. So hopefully you can. Give it like 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. All right, welcome everybody. Nice to have you here. And just like that, it is Thursday. I'm so excited. I sing when I'm excited. Hope you all had a great week. This is going to be an all levels vinyasa flow, geared towards everyone. Anybody can do this. Some of the poses might get challenging only because they might, require a little bit of strength and using muscle. And but you can always modify, and I'm going to show you different ways you can modify the poses. And as we work our way up into a peak pose, you don't have to do the full variation of the peak pose. I'm going to show you other options, and part of yoga is figuring out what is best for you. And what is best for you today is going to change, from what's best for you tomorrow and what was best for you yesterday. Every day is a different day, and every day we have to determine, how things feel inside and to our bodies and to our minds, and kind of adjusting to that and accepting and realizing that it's okay to have to adjust. So as we get through today, just feel what's going on inside. That can be one of your intentions for your practice, is feeling what's going on inside, whether it's your body, your mind, because everything is connected and everything is one. Winnie will be my co-teacher. I've now determined that Winnie's my co-teacher, so she will be here. She just makes her appearance in every single video and every single class, so I think she enjoys it. I think she enjoys being the star. So we're going to get started. And here she goes laying down on my mat. Go ahead and let's start lying down. So lie flat on your mat. Find a comfortable position, just like Winnie here. It'll say lie down and she lays down. You can lay on your back. You can have your legs extended out in front of you, or you can bend your knees, feet on the floor, knees into touch. And just find a comfortable position and find stillness in your body. And close your eyes and just breathe normally through your nose. And I want you to focus on a distraction, because we have a lot of distractions, especially in our home. So I want you to focus on one. It could be a sound, it could be a feeling, it could be feeling cold or feeling warm. But just focus on a distraction. And allow that distraction to just pass through, like a wave in the ocean or like a heartbeat. Allowing it to come and allowing it to pass. Not fixating, just allowing it to come. And if it comes back, do the same thing. Allow it to come through and allow it to pass. And then once you do that, return to your breathing and focus on the breath as it comes in through your nose and as it comes out. And slowly start to deepen your breathing, taking a long, slow, deep inhalation, followed by a long, slow, deep exhalation. And with each inhale, just get a little bit deeper, filling up your body a little bit more with air each time, but not allowing it to get too stressful. Take one more deep breath in through your nose and breathe out. Good. And then return to normal breathing. And on your next inhale, draw your left knee in towards your chest. Keep your right leg extended down and flex your right foot, toes point up towards the ceiling. Press both your hips down into the floor. And you can just hold on to your shin, to your left shin, pressing your right thigh down. Good. Inhale, draw your right knee into your chest. Hug both knees in. And then exhale, extend your left leg down, pressing your left thigh down, left toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Flex your left foot, press your heel forward. Draw your right knee in. Inhale, draw your left knee in. Give yourself another hug. Good. And then place your feet on the floor. Knees are still bent. Take your right ankle, place it over top of your left knee. And then option 1 is to stay here. Option 2, you're going to draw your left knee in towards you so your left calf is parallel to the floor. And then interlace your fingers behind your left thigh. Flex both your feet, then draw your left knee in. So don't lift your tailbone up. Some people, they tend to lift their tailbone up. Think about pressing your sacrum down into the floor. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Doesn't have to go 100% straight, but you're just going towards straight. Pressing your left heel up towards the ceiling. Good. Exhale, bend your left knee. Release that. Place your left foot on the floor. Place your right foot on the floor. Then inhale, left ankle over your right knee. Flex your left foot. And then you can always just stay here or draw your right knee in. Interlace your fingers behind your right thigh. Right calf parallel to the floor. Flexing both feet, drawing your right knee in. Pressing your pelvis down, pressing your sacrum down. Then inhale, straighten your right leg. Pressing your right heel up towards the ceiling. Doesn't have to be 100% straight, just going towards straight. Good. Exhale, bend your right knee. Place your right foot on the floor. Place your left foot on the floor. Good. Draw your knees into your chest one more time. Good. And then grab behind your knees. Rock yourself forwards and backwards 3 times. Rock yourself up to sitting. Make your way into tabletop. I always go to tabletop. I like to do a couple cat and cows in most every practice. Just it's a nice way to warm up the spine. So make sure that your knees are hip bone distance apart underneath your hip bones. Untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet down, and your arms should be in one line, wrist, elbow, shoulders. Good. Spread your fingers, press your hands down and lift up away from the floor, but then draw your shoulder blades together at the same time. So you're not rounding your upper back, keeping that spine neutral. And then on your next inhale, start to drop your chest as you lengthen it forward and look up for cow pose. And then take your entire exhale, go slow, round your spine, press the floor away with your hands, look towards your belly button for cat pose. Inhale, lift up, lengthen, look up, and exhale, round. Good, one more time. Inhale, lift up, lengthen, look up. Tailbone goes back, then starts to lift up. And then take your entire exhale to round. Tailbone starts to point down, then starts to tuck under. Inhale, come back to a neutral tabletop. Step your right foot back, come into like a half plank. So your right thigh is pressing up. And then you can move your foot back a little bit so your heel is lifted up, but you can still press it back. Inhale, lift your left arm up to shoulder height, palm facing in. Draw your hip bones up toward your bottom ribs. So you're not, in your lower back. Your spine is nice and neutral. And then press down to the top of your left foot. Inhale, lift your right leg up a couple inches. Toes stay pointing down. Press into your right hand, lift up away from the floor. No sinking down. Lift up. Keep breathing. Reach out through your left fingertips and your right heel. Good. Exhale, come back to tabletop. Inhale, step your left foot back. Come onto the ball of your left foot. Left thigh pressing up. Really press down to the top of your right foot so that way your knee's not doing all the work into your right leg. Press your left thigh up towards the ceiling. Draw your ribcage toward your hip bones. Inhale, lift your right arm up to shoulder height, palm facing in. Press down into your left hand as you lift up and away from the floor. And then lift your left leg up a couple inches, toes stay pointing down. Reaching out through your right fingertips and your left heel. Keep your back toes pointing down. Exhale, come back to tabletop. Inhale to child's pose. So knees can be together or apart. Arms out in front of you, elbows slightly bent so your elbows are resting on the floor. Or you can have your arms down by your sides, giving your shoulders a rest. Forehead on the floor, on a block, on a towel, whatever you choose, whatever you like. This is your rest pose. If you get tired or fatigued, you can always go here, take a few breaths, and come back whenever you're ready. Very nice. Inhale, reach your arms out in front of you. Look up at your hands. Make sure your hands are about shoulder distance apart. Start to walk your fingertips towards the front edge of your mat. So your elbows lift up. Draw your upper arms under. Press your hands down into the floor and slowly press yourself up to tabletop. Make sure your hands are about shoulder distance apart. Tuck your back toes under. And then lift your hips up and back. Come into our first downward facing dog. Lift your heels up. Bend your knees a lot. And then really lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Pressing down into your hands as you lift up and away from the floor. Good. From here, you start to pedal your feet. Bring your right heel down. And then your left. Pedaling one at a time. Just starting to bring some movement into your legs and your hamstrings. If you want to move your hips from there, you can start incorporating your hips into it. Bringing some movement into your hips. Good, and then from there, just find some stillness. Come back to downward facing dog. Lift your heels up, bend your knees. Draw your upper arms under as you lift up and away from the floor. Inhale, slowly come forward to plank and pause. You can move your feet back if you need to. So that way your hips and legs are parallel to the floor. Pressing your heels back, but your heels are still lifted. Press your hands down, lift up away from the floor. Modification for plank. Anytime you can put your knees down right where they are in space. This is one thing you can always do to modify. Lengthen your tailbone toward your heels. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Keep lifting up and away. Inhale, come forward to plank. Lifting away from the floor as you come forward. Exhale, slowly lower all the way down. Knees up or down. Okay, so if you kept your knees up and you crashed down, next time, drop your knees. Okay, bring your hands back to under your shoulders. Draw your upper arms in. Bring your chin to the floor. Press down to the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift your chest up, baby cobra. Lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, release, come down. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra again. Lift your hands up an inch or two off the floor. Keep pressing down to the tops of your feet. Exhale, release, come down. Inhale, press yourself up to tabletop. Exhale, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, slowly walk your hands to your feet. So slowly. Try to go as slow as you can, walking your hands back to your feet. If you're already back there and you were faster than me, try to go slower next time. Okay, separate your feet so they're hip bone distance apart. Inhale, lift up halfway length and place your hands on your shins. Slight bend in your knees. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head. Reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling, lifting from the sides of your waist. Exhale, forward fold. Slight bend in your knees as you fold over. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms in front of you again over your head. Lift up from the sides of your waist. Lengthen your tailbone down. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana again. Hands on your shins. If your fingertips touch the floor, move them back to line up with your toes. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen again, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, walk your hands out to plank pose. So walking your hands all the way forward till you're in plank. Okay, knees up or down. Draw your upper arms under, so your elbows are kind of pointing back. Exhale, shift your weight forward, lower all the way down to the floor again. Untuck your toes, press tops of your feet down. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Exhale, release, come down. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra again. Press down to all 10 toes. Exhale, release, come down. Inhale, press yourself up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, walk your feet to your hands. Slowly walk your feet all the way to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and over your head, reaching your fingertips up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, step your left foot back, so you're in a lunge, like a runner's lunge. Move your right foot to the right, just 1 or 2 times. Your feet are in their own lane. Press your left thigh up. Inhale, come up onto your fingertips, look up. Firm your outer hips in. Inhale, reach your arms in front of you, lifting your torso up, reaching up for a high lunge. Sinking down into your right knee, but don't let it go past your ankle. Bend your left knee a couple inches. Lengthen your tailbone down, lift up the sides of your waist. Draw your upper arms in and under. Inhale, straighten both legs. And exhale, lunge. Inhale, stay here. Exhale, place your hands under frame your right foot. Pick the right toes up off the floor, the ball of your foot, so you're just on your heel. Okay, and then slowly step back to plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. Knees up or down. Inhale, lift your chest up, baby cobra. Exhale, release, come down. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. This time, the option to straighten your arms about 50 to 60%. So you're coming up a little bit higher, but elbows are still bent and drawing in. Lifting your chest. Good. Exhale, release, come down. Okay. This time, tuck your toes under. Walk your feet in. So your knees and your thighs lift up. Walk your hands back so your wrists and elbows line up. Okay, you have to look back there and double check. Okay. Draw your tailbone towards the backs of your knees. Really press the ball of your feet down so your knees and thighs lift up. On your next inhale, press down to the balls of your feet and your hands. Press yourself up to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look to your hands. Walk or step to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and over your head, reach your fingertips up. Exhale, sit down to chair pose, Utkatasana. Lengthen your tailbone down. And pretend like there's a block between your thighs, and you're pressing your thighs in towards your block. Lift up from the sides of your waist. And then, don't do something like this. Draw your upper arms under. Pretend like you're holding a block between your hands too. Maybe sink down a little bit more. Keep breathing. And then exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, step your right foot back, come into your lunge. Move your left foot to the left 1 or 2 times. Inhale, come up onto your fingertips, look up. Firm your outer left hip in and firm your right hip in. Press your right thigh up. Inhale, lift your arms up, come into a high lunge. Sinking down into your left knee. And then bend your right knee a couple inches. That's so you can lengthen your tailbone down and then lift up. Inhale, straighten both legs. And exhale, bend. Inhale. Exhale, place your hands under frame your left foot. Pick the ball of your left foot up. So you're on your heel. And then slowly lift your left foot up, step back to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, separate your feet so that they are the width of your mat. You can turn your toes out slightly. You keep your knees slightly bent. Walk your hands back. And then bend your knees. And you're going to come into a squat. So this can be challenging. So some options for you to different variations and modifications is sitting on blocks. So you can sit on some blocks. 1, 2, however many you need. The other option, make your feet a little bit wider. Turn your toes out, turn your feet out. And that will help get your heels down. The other thing is when you're coming down, flick your tailbone back. So instead of tucking your tailbone under to come down, flick it back, lengthen your spine, then come down, okay? The other option, if none of that works, is just don't come down as far. You can stand up a little bit higher. Place your hands together at heart center. Bring your triceps, your outer arms to the inside of your legs. Press your arms into your legs. Press your legs back into your arms. So both your arms and your legs engage. And then lift and open your chest. Draw your shoulder blades together. Keep lifting up through the sides of your waist. Good. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, crow pose, Bakasana. So what you're going to do is you're going to parallel your feet. You're going to bring your hands down in front of you. Okay. Spread your fingers. And then right now you can round your spine as much as you need to get your knees as high as you can to your upper arms. So your knees should be like right in your armpits, basically. And then from there, you're going to press down into your hands. So when you do this, you should like suction your hands so your knuckles kind of lift up and you're really pressing down into your fingertips. Draw your elbows in, lift your heels up, shift your weight forward. Lengthen your chest forward, look forward. Press your thighs and your knees into your arms. Maybe lifting one foot, maybe lifting the other foot. Pressing down into your fingertips, and then slowly bring your feet back to the earth. We're going to come back to that. Bring your hands together, lift up. Good. Slowly walk your hands out to plank. Bring your feet so they're hip bone distance apart. First chaturanga. Okay, you can always put your knees down here. Put your knees down, come down halfway. Knees up. Any option. Lengthen your tailbone toward your heels. Shift your weight forward. Draw your upper arms in. Exhale, come down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Pause here. Lift your chest up. Press your hands down. Press down to the tops of your feet. Good. Exhale, lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your hands, walk or step to the top of your mat. Lift up halfway, lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, sit down to chair pose, Utkatasana. Good, draw your upper arms under. Lengthen your tailbone down, sit down a little bit more. Inhale, lift your right foot up a couple inches. Exhale, put that down. Inhale, lift your left foot up a couple inches. Exhale, put that down, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, step your left foot back. Step your right foot back. Come into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Come down halfway. Keep your elbows in toward your middle. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Draw your hip bones up toward your rib cage. Lift your chest up. Press down to the floor, lift away from the floor. Press down to all 10 toes, press your thighs up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, look to your hands, walk, step, or jump to the top of your mat this time. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come back up to chair pose, Utkatasana. Bring your hands together to heart center. Lift your chest. Then exhale, twist to your right. Just from your torso. So think about your core and your upper body twisting. Keep lengthening your torso. Keep your hips where they are. Exhale, sit down a little bit lower. Place your left elbow wherever it lands on your right knee. Lengthen your torso. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to step back into a twisted lunge. So lift your left heel up off the floor. Good. And then from here, you're going to slowly step your left foot back. Coming into a twisted lunge. Pressing down into your feet. Lift up, so you don't want to be pressing down too much into your elbow. And then from here, roll your right shoulder back and lift your right elbow up. Press your left thigh up towards the ceiling. Good. Inhale, slowly come back or come up to a high lunge. Okay, this one we're going to open up to a twist again. So when you exhale, your right arm comes back, left arm reaches forward.
You're reaching your fingertips away from each other. Sink down a little bit more into your right knee. Press down into the heel of your right foot. Good, inhale, come up to the center. And exhale, place your hands down to frame your right foot. Exhale, step your right foot back. You can chaturanga, or just meet us in downward facing dog, wherever you go. Inhale, lift to your hands. Walk, step, or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and over your head. Reach your fingertips up. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Okay, you can grab a drink if you want. You always can take a little break if you need it. I'm going to come to the top of your mat in Tadasana, mountain pose. And from here, I'm going to turn and face you. Lift your right knee up off the floor and flex your right foot. Good. Take your two right peace fingers, wrap it around your right big toe. Press your left thigh back. You can either leave your left hand where it is, you can place your left hand on your hip, you can bring it out into a T shape, whatever you would like to do. And from here, on your next exhale, you're going to take your right leg out at an angle. If it doesn't straighten, that's fine. It's more important to keep your torso long and keep your left leg straight. If you go to straighten it and you start to round or your left knee bends, bend your knee. Flex your foot, press your right heel forward. Keep lifting your torso up. Bring your right knee or right leg to the center. Keep breathing. Keep pressing your left thigh back. Square your ribs towards the front. Good. Bend your right knee and slowly release. Good. Come back to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Exhale, sit down to chair pose, Utkatasana. You can separate your feet about hip bone distance apart. It's going to help you step back into your lunge. Bring your hands together to heart center. Lift up from the sides of your waist. Exhale, twist to your left. So your knees should stay in line, fairly in line with each other. It's okay if they move a little bit, but you don't want your right knee going way forward of your left. Go to your next exhale. You can sit down a little bit lower. Place your right elbow wherever it lands on your left knee. And just keep breathing. Press down into your feet. Firm your outer hips in. And then lift your right heel up off the floor. And slowly step back into your twisted lunge. Good. Keep firming your outer hips in. Lift up and away from the floor. Press your right thigh up and then draw your left shoulder back. Inhale, slowly come up into a high lunge. And then your exhale, left arm comes back, right arm reaches forward, coming back into a twist. You can press your right thigh up, lift your torso, reach your fingertips away from each other. And then inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, place your hands down to frame your left foot, step your left foot back. Your choice, chaturanga. You can always skip that. Just meet us in downward facing dog, wherever you decide to go. Good. Okay. Look to your hands. Step to the outside of your hands, coming back into your yogi squat, malasana, garland pose. Again, using whatever modification, variation, or prop that you need. You can sit on blocks. You don't have to come down as far. You can make your feet wider, turn your feet out more. Flick your tailbone back. Bring your hands together. Lift your chest up. Draw your shoulder blades together. Press your arms into your legs. Press your legs back into your arms so you feel things fire up. Just keep breathing. One more Bakasana crow pose. So you can go ahead and do it if you have, if you've done it before and have a practice, right? If you're learning, parallel your feet to each other, okay? And then come down. You can round your spine here just so you can get your knees up because we have a natural curve in our upper back, and that will help you to get your knees up. Elbows stay bent. So it's kind of like you're doing chaturanga. You don't want your elbows to flare out. You want to bring them in and keep them in. So you're drawing everything in toward your middle.
Hands down in front of you, spread your fingers. And again, you're really pressing down into the outside of your hand. So this through the palm, through the outside, and then down through the fingertips. You're really pressing down to that part of your hand. And then lift your heels up off the floor and shift your weight forward. And then draw everything in. So this is where the elbows start to flare out, knees start to go out. Don't look at your toes. For some reason, we're so interested in our feet in this pose. So lengthen your chest forward, look forward. And then your toes will start to naturally start to lift up. And if that happens, then maybe you're lifting your feet up off the floor and bringing your feet together. And slowly bring your feet back down to the earth. Bring your hands together. Okay, so I'm going to show you something that is an option, but I want to demonstrate it first. Okay, so it's the jump back into chaturanga. I have not done one of these in a very long time, so we'll see how this goes. So this is a jump back. So if you jump back into chaturanga, you have to land with bent elbows. If you land with your elbows straight, you're going to really injure yourself, okay? So when you jump back, you're landing in a chaturanga position. Okay, so you're in Bakasana. And then when you're here, you're shifting your weight forward, dumping your heels back, landing with bent elbows, and then transitioning into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana or Baby Cobra. Okay? All right. So option 1 is to try that. Option 2 is to just step back into plank, chaturanga, or just meet us in downward facing dog. All right, you got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Downward facing dog. I can't see you, but I hope that went well. Take a few breaths here. Good. Your next inhale, lift your hands, walk, step, or jump to the top of your mat. Lift up halfway, lengthen Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and over your head. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Okay. Come to the top of your mat in Tadasana. We're going to do the other side. So press down into your right foot. Lift your left knee up. Flex your left foot. Firm your outer hips in. So try not to sink down into your right hip. So firm that in. And then don't let your left hip go above your right hip. So you can put your fingers here and you can kind of see what your hips are doing. Take your 2 left peace fingers, wrap it around your left big toe. You can keep your right arm down. You can place on your hip or out to the side. Your choice. Press your right thigh back. Lift your torso up. Keep your ribs square towards the front. On your next exhale, slowly start to straighten your left leg out in an angle. It's okay to keep it bent, but flex your foot. Keep your torso lifting. Press your right thigh back. Keep breathing. Keep smiling. And then from here, bring your left leg to the center. Keep drawing your right thigh back. Keep breathing. Perfect. And then bend your left knee and slowly release. Bring both arms down. Okay. Come to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms up, breathe in. Good. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, step your left foot back, come into a lunge. And then inhale up to a high lunge. So, you have to get yourself set up. The faster you go, the more likely you're going to lose your balance because you're not really engaging the muscles you need to transition you and get you to where you need to go. Good. Pause here. Make sure that your right knee is not going past your ankle. This way. Okay, from your outer hips in. And on your next inhale, shift your weight forward, hover 2 inches above your right knee. Press your left thigh up towards the ceiling. Good. Keep firming your outer right hip in. Keep reaching your fingertips forward. Shift your weight forward. Straighten your right leg. Lift your left leg up for Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. This is where it gets tough and you got to hold it. You can always put blocks under your hands here. That's a really good variation and modification. Pretend like you're holding a block between your hands. Keep breathing. Get your left toes to point down. Press your left heel back.
Draw your left hip down a little bit if it's lifting up. Keep breathing. Good. Bend your right knee a couple inches. Hold it. Hold it. Slowly step back into your high lunge. Ooh, good. Inhale, straighten both legs. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lunge. Stay here, and then your next inhale, just spin your left heel down to the floor and bring your left toes in. And then think about your ribs. They're going towards straight, like towards the front of the room, but they're not going to be 100% for warrior one. Good. Inhale, straighten your front leg, but don't lock it out. So think about your right knee like lifting up towards your hips. And then take your tailbone and lengthen it towards the floor so your hip bones kind of start to draw up. Place your hands on your hips. Press down into your right big toe mound. Good. Keep pressing your left thigh back. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, shift your weight forward. Come down halfway. Elbows point up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing down to your right big toe mound. And then inhale, press down, lift up. Inhale, come forward. Halfway. Lengthen your chest forward. Press down into your feet. Slowly rise up. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up. Bend your right knee. Exhale, place your hands on the frame of your right foot. Step your right foot back. Your choice, chaturanga. Just meet me in downward facing dog. Then your next inhale, lift your hands. Walk, step, or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms in front of you and over your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Okay, so we're going to do the other side with the warrior three, but I wanted to show you a couple of things that happen in warrior three. I can't see you, so can't really cue you based on what I'm saying. So I'm just going to show you some really common things that happen. So when you're in a warrior three, you're engaging your glute muscle. So a lot of times what happens is when you engage your glute, your leg starts to turn out and your toes start to turn out. So what you're doing is taking your inner thigh and rotating it up so your toes point down. Okay. Other thing is your hips. So I'm trying to do this in a way you can see it. So say I'm here, okay, our right hip tends to lift up. So you want to make sure your hips are in one line with each other. All right. And then the last thing to focus on is what's happening up here. So a lot of times when we're here, people tend to round. So you want to lengthen everything forward. Shoot through your fingertips and your heel. Okay, now that you had a little bit of a break, let's try the other side. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step your right foot back, come into your lunge, and inhale up to a high lunge. And having a little bit of space between your feet and getting your feet to be hip bone distance apart allows you to balance, creates a little bit of space. Make sure your left knee is not going past your ankle. Press down into your left foot, the ball of your right foot. Lift your chest up. And next, inhale, shift your weight forward. Hover 2 inches above your left knee, firming your hips in. A lot of times our left hip likes to stick out here. So really press that in towards the middle. Shift your weight forward. Keep your right leg straight. Keep your right foot flexed. Straighten your left leg. Lift your right leg up. Coming into warrior three. So again, make your right leg straight. Get your toes to point down. Press your heel back. Lower your right hip so it's in line with your left. Torso parallel to the floor. Reach your fingertips forward. Keep breathing. Good. Bend your left knee a couple inches. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Slowly step back into your high lunge. Good. Inhale, straighten both legs. And exhale, lunge. Good. Spin your back heel down to the floor. Bring your back toes in. And then turn your ribs so they're going towards the front. Press your right thigh back. So you're in warrior one. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Lifting your kneecap up towards your hip bone. Lengthen your tailbone down so your hip bones start to scoop up. Place your hands on your hips. Lift your torso. Press down to the big toe mound of your left foot. And then inhale, shift your weight forward. Come down halfway. Elbows point up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing your right thigh back. Draw your left hip back slightly as you draw your right hip forward. Inhale, slowly rise up. Lift up. Exhale, come down halfway. Lengthening forward. Pressing down into your feet. Inhale, slowly rise up. Good. Bend your front knee, reach your arms up, breathe in. Exhale, place your hands on to frame your left foot, step your left foot back, lower all the way down to the floor. Good. All right, untuck your toes. Press the tops of your feet down. Reach your arms out in front of you this time, and pretend like you're holding a block between your hands. So pretend like you're holding a block between your hands. Palms are facing in towards each other, but your hands are shoulder distance apart. Reach your toes back. So yes, you're pressing down to the tops of your feet, but you're also reaching your toes back in space so your legs engage and your legs are long. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Bring your chin or forehead to the mat. Reach your fingertips forward. On your next inhale, lift your arms, head, neck, and chest up off the floor. Keep breathing. You don't have to come up very high. Keep lengthening your tailbone down. Lift your feet up a couple inches. Spread your toes. Keep the tops of your feet pressing or pointing down. Rotate your inner thighs up. Keep breathing. Draw your upper arms under. 1, 2, 3, release. Come down. Turn one cheek to one side. You can put your arms wherever you like. Take a few breaths here. Good. Inhale, bring your chin back to the mat. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Walk your hands back so your wrists and elbows line up. Tuck your toes under. Walk your feet in so your knees and thighs lift up. Bring your forehead to the floor. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. On your next inhale, draw everything in. Press yourself up to plank. You can use your knees if you need to. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, your next inhale, lift your hands. Walk, step, or jump to the top of your mat. Lift up halfway lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. You can keep a slight bend in your knees. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up to chair pose, Utkatasana. Lengthen your tailbone down. Bring your hands to heart center. Sit down a little bit lower. Lengthen, exhale, twist to your right. Bring your left elbow down to your right knee. Separate your hands. Pretend like you're putting your hands on an imaginary wall in front of you, drawing your elbows in. So from the side, it looks like this. Like, no! Don't let your tailbone stay back, so keep lengthening your tailbone towards the floor slightly. Good, bring your hands together, slowly come back up. Inhale, straighten your legs, reach your arms up. Exhale, side bend to your right. Right arm comes down, left arm reaches up and over. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, sit down to chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, bring your hands to heart center. Lift your torso up. Sit down a little bit lower. Exhale, twist to your left. Bring your right elbow down. You can look down at your feet and your knees. If your right knee's coming really far forward, draw your right hip back. And separate your hands. So it's like you're touching a wall. Draw your elbows in. Keep breathing. Good, bring your hands back together. Slowly come back up to chair pose. Reach your arms up, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees a lot. Allow your torso to relax on your thighs. Grab opposite elbows. Allow your head to hang between your arms. Press your feet down. Lift your tailbone up. Then exhale, release your hands down to the floor. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Okay, come to like the center of your mat. So we're getting to our peak, which is a little bit harder. I mean, it is hard, challenging, whatever word you want to use for it. But it doesn't mean it's impossible. But you're just going to meet yourself where you are today and work there. Because wherever you work today is going to get you somewhere tomorrow. Okay? Okay, so we're going to come into a toe squat. So what I want you to do is you're going to come up onto the balls of your feet. Lengthen your tailbone down. Lift your arms up over your head. Without putting your heels on the floor, your knees are going to start to come forward as you bend your knees. Tailbone starts to lengthen down as you lower down. And my knees crack. Shins are parallel to the floor. Keep lifting your torso up. Bring your hands together to heart center. Option 1, if you want to give yourself a really good workout, is to slowly repeat that a few times. Slowly rising up, as slow as you can without putting your gaze down, and slowly coming down, controlling it. Okay. Option 2, side crow. Okay. My favorite arm balances. So what you're going to do is pretend like you're in chair and you're twisting from your torso. So lift up, exhale, twist to your right. Place your left elbow down on your right knee, but then you can kind of move it so your tricep is more on your thigh. Separate your hands, and then you're going to bring your hands down in front of you. Give yourself a little bit of space, and it's okay to allow both elbows to support you, okay? So draw your elbows in, and then shift your weight forward. So you're lifting up and shifting forward. You'll feel your outer thigh start to press on your arms. Lengthen your chest forward, and then maybe you're lifting your feet up off the floor. And then slowly, when you're ready, come down and come back to your squat. Okay, how'd that go? All right, we're gonna give this another try or two. Okay, slowly stand up. Reach your arms up. Exhale, come down. You can roll out your ankles, give yourself a little bit of a breather. We're gonna do the other side, and then we're gonna repeat, and I'm gonna give you another option, maybe, okay? We have two sides, so we have to do both sides, right? Okay, inhale, reach your arms up. Come up onto the balls of your feet. Slowly come down. So again, option 1, bring your hands to heart center. Option 1 is to repeat that and just bring yourself up and down, really working the control of going up and down. And then maybe if you want to add twisting into it, so lifting up, and then exhale, twist to your left. You can come back to the center, you can do that a couple of times. And then you're going to bring your your right elbow to your left knee. And then you can kind of maneuver it a little bit. So you're trying to get your tricep to your outer thigh. And then hands are separated. Bring them down in front of you. Give yourself a little, you don't want to be all the way back at your feet because then you don't have space to go forward. So give yourself a little bit of space. Turn your hands out. Draw your elbows in. Lift up. And then shift your weight forward. And then maybe lengthen your chest forward. Maybe you're lifting your feet up. Keep breathing. And then exhale when you're ready. Come down. Bring your hands together. I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Inhale, slowly rise up. Bring your heels down. Good. Okay, take a break. We're going to try that on both sides. Either A, repeating what you just did to kind of learn from there. If you got it, that's awesome. I'm going to give you another option, okay? But you do not have to do this, okay? Okay. I'm trying to think the best angle to do this. Let's do it this way. Okay, so going into the side crow. I don't even know if I can do this today. I have a hip injury, but we're going to find out in 1 second. Actually, maybe I'll do it this way. Okay, so I'm here. Drawing your arms in. Don't let your elbows flare out. Okay, draw your arms in. Shift your weight forward. So you don't want to round your spine. Don't look at your feet. Just like you're doing crow pose, lengthen your chest forward. And then maybe you're lifting your feet up. And then from here, you can start to straighten your legs. Lengthen your chest forward as you straighten. Flexing your feet. And then slowly coming back. Okay? You don't have to do that at all. Okay, you can just
Practice what you've been doing, maybe practicing twisting. Every day is a journey, every day is a step in one direction. Okay, and sometimes you feel like you're going backwards, and that's okay too. All right, here we go. If you want to start here and come down, you can. Otherwise, just squat down. That's fine. Okay. All right, here we go. Hands to heart center. Lifting up. Exhale, twist to your right. You know what you're doing? Here we go. Draw your elbows in. Shift your weight forward. Maybe lift your top foot. Maybe leave your bottom foot on the floor so you're practicing here. Or lift your bottom foot. Lengthen your chest forward, then maybe you're straightening your legs. It's okay to bring your chest down towards the floor, but keep it long. And then when you're ready, slowly coming back. And we're going to go right into the other side. Okay, so you can take a little breather, but we're going to go right into it. So lift your chest up. Exhale, twist to your left. Coming down. Tricep to your outer thigh. Hands down. Turn your hands out. Shift your weight forward. Here we go. You can do it. Lengthen your chest forward. Maybe you're just lifting your top foot up. Maybe you're straightening both legs. I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come down. Whew. Good job. That is not an easy one. But like I said, this is all levels, and you can do anything that is right for you. And I'm going to help you do whatever it is that feels good in your own body. All right. Let's cool down a little bit from there. So come down. Bring your feet together. Knees out for Baddha Konasana. Bound angle pose. If you like to sit on a towel, like a folded towel, you can do that. So really press your feet together. Press your big toe mounds together. Hold on to your shins right above your ankles. Lift your chest up. Keep your sit bones pressing down. And shift your weight forward. And go ahead and round your upper back. Rounding over. If you want to hold on to your feet, to keep your feet together, you can do that too. Good, inhale, slowly come up. Take your hands behind your knees. Use your hands to press your knees up. We're going to come into pigeon. So we're going to get into it from tabletop. So come into a tabletop position. If you know you need props, I'll show you how you can use them. But if you have props next to you, have a towel or a block nearby, I'll tell you how you can use them. Step your right foot forward. Walk your right foot to the left side of your mat. And then you're going to start to bring your left leg back. So I'm picking up my leg, drawing it back as I bring my right knee down to the floor. And then before you untuck your toes, look back. Lengthen your back leg, and then you can untuck your toes. So you should be able to balance here. And you really should be kind of lifting up and engaging your muscles to lift up and press in. But if you're lifting up and you feel really unstable, you can take a blanket, put it underneath of your right hip, and allow that to support you. If you're up really high, you can use a block under there. So whatever. Towel's really good because you can kind of adjust it to whatever position you like. Okay, and then from here, you can have your right knee in line with your hip. Your right shin does not have to be 100% parallel to the front of your mat. Your right heel can be in a little bit. And bring your right fingertips down. Lift your chest up. Good. Press down into your left foot. Then you can stay here, okay? Or come down to your forearms. And then if you want to bend your elbows and bring your head down to your forearms, you can do that. You can also bring your arms out in front of you. Inhale, slowly walk your hands back. Come up to sitting. Come out of this, tuck your back toes under, lift your back leg up off the floor, press into your hands, slowly step back into your tabletop. Step your left foot forward, walk your left foot over to the right side of your mat. And then you're starting to lengthen your back leg back as you come down. So your hips should be, level with each other. You don't want to be lifting up like this, okay? And then again, you can use your props. You can use a folded towel to put underneath your left hip. You can put a block under your left hip, but really draw everything in and think about lifting up. So you're engaging your muscles in this pose. You're not just sinking down into your joints. Look back at your left leg. Nope, that's your right leg. And make sure it's in one long line. I swear I forgot my left and my right when I became a yoga teacher. Inhale, lift your chest up, breathe. And option 1, stay here. Option 2, come down to your forearms. And then you can stay here. You can stay whatever level you want to be at. You can bring your forehead to your forearms. You can bring your arms out in front of you. But you shouldn't feel stressed. If you feel stressed, come back up. Find a position that doesn't feel stressful for you. If this just isn't a thing at all, you can go into reverse pigeon or thread the needle, like we did earlier. That's also an option. Very slowly start to walk your hands back. Slowly come up to sitting. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back leg up. Press into your hands, press yourself up, come back to downward facing dog. You can pedal your feet out a little bit. And then drop your knees to the ground. Come to sitting. If this is uncomfortable sitting on your shins, you can sit on a block. You can sit with your legs crossed in front of you. I'm going to turn my back to you so you can see what I'm doing. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Grab opposite elbows. So you really want to get your palm in your elbow. But you also don't want to arch your back. So draw your rib cage towards your hip bones. Lift up through your elbows. Exhale, side bend to your right. Inhale, come up to center. Exhale, side bend to your left. Good. Inhale, come to center. Stay here. Keep lifting up through your elbows. Just drop your left hand to your right shoulder. So it's at an angle. And you're lifting your left elbow up and pressing your elbow into your right hand. Good. And then switch that. So switch the direction of your arms. So you're here, switch that around. Press into your elbows or press your hands into your elbows and then bring your right hand down to your left shoulder. And then keep your head long. Don't tuck your chin under and press your elbow into your left hand. Good, and then exhale, bring your arms up, bring them down, and come down to your backs. Getting ready for Shavasana, getting ready for a much deserved rest. You can take a happy baby pose if you like. I personally love to finish with happy baby. If you want to do any other stretch, like a twist, you could do a twist. If you want to do thread the needle again, you can do that. If you want to bring one leg down, the other leg over, anything like that. And then just do that for another breath or two. And you're going to make your way into Shavasana. If you are near a wall, you can do legs up the wall. Otherwise, just bring your legs down, bring your arms down. Feet are a little bit wider than hip bone distance apart. Palms flipped up, fingers curling naturally. Closing your eyes.
And breathing normally through your nose, coming back into your breath. Maybe your distractions have changed since the beginning of class. Whatever they are now, just allow them to come through and to pass. Always coming back to your breath.
Slowly start to deepen your breathing. Move your fingers and toes. And slowly roll over to one side and pause there for a moment. Using your top hand, slowly press yourself up to sitting. Come to any seated position you like, the top of your mat. And then sit up tall and bring your hands together to heart center and close your eyes. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in you. And we bow to complete our practice. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. Great job. Those classes aren't easy, but again, you can modify to fit where you are today. And that's what it's about. It's about finding accessibility and allowing yourself to modify and to find a variation that is best for you and where you are today. I hope you enjoyed that. I will be continuing to do this as long as we are in the stay home moment in quarantine. Saturday morning, please come. I'm probably going to open with a little bit of meditation. I love doing meditation on Saturday mornings. It'll be a beginner's flow. It's going to be gentle-ish, but we're still going to flow and move. But it'll be nice, gentle mixed in there. So come 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 1 hour. And yeah, it's a good way to start off your weekend. And then I'll have the schedule out for next week on Sunday. Okay. Hope you all have a great Friday. I'll see you all soon.